Hi scientists, I'm going to show you how to make a graph using Excel. Excel is the tool that we're going to use when we do this investigation, this design lab for number 2 on factors influencing resistance. So we're going to start by making a data table. The data table we're going to put, first of all, in our left-hand column, we're going to put our x-axis variable, which is our independent variable. Because I'm looking at resistance, and that's going to follow Ohm's law, my x-axis is going to be current, which is measured in amperes. So I'm going to type in some data that I collected previously, and just give me a second to do that. And then our y-axis is going to be potential difference. This is our dependent variable, and of course, when we do find the slope of the graph that's going to get generated here, that will give us the relationship V over I, which in other words is resistance from Ohm's law. We're going to type in our potential difference, which is measured in volts. And again, from the data that I collected, it looked like this. And I want to keep track of my decimal places. I want to make sure that the decimal places, sometimes Excel rounds things off, and we don't want that to happen. But if that was the case, like let's say I type in 6.0, but Excel rounds it to 6. You just come up here and I can move the decimal place by clicking on that one. So in this case, that's not data that I need. So now I'm ready to make my graph. So I'm going to highlight my data and the kind of graph that I want under Insert, and is this one, the scatter plot. I'm going to make the scatter plot. And I'm just going to double check that I've selected the right one by looking at my numbers on the x-axis to make sure that they correspond to my data for current, and my numbers on the y-axis to make sure that they correspond to my numbers for potential difference. Now, not all of the information is there on these axes. These axes are currently missing the axis titles. So we're going to click plus and select axis titles. And then in our axis title, we can type into it how we want to label that axis, remembering to include the units. The other thing that we need is to add a trend line. So remember, not a coloring book line, but a line that shows the linear relationship that we are trying to determine. And we want to just make sure that it is set on linear. The other piece of information that we need is the equation of the line. So we want to find down here under display equation on chart, we want to display the equation of the line because we know that the equation of a line, y equals mx plus b, m, this number right here, is going to tell us the slope of that line. So in this case, our slope is 99.474, but we measured only with the precision of only one decimal place, so we're going to round that off. So I'm going to call that slope 99.5. And remembering that in this particular relationship, V over I equals resistance, so that slope is going to represent the resistance in this circuit of 99.5 ohms, remembering the units for resistance. So I'm going to wrap this up by giving my graph a descriptive title that shows the causal relationship between my two variables and includes the units. So you're going to do the same thing as you investigate factors that influence resistance in your circuits, and you can refer to this screencast in order to remind yourself how to use Excel to produce your graph. Your graphs can then be copied out of Excel and pasted into your Word document that you're going to produce for your final report.